It always looked like the kind of track that asks an awful lot of the rear tyres, such as the frequency of low-speed.
It's a bit disappointing, but we just need to push hard in the race and we can still come away with something.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Hamilton, Bottas and Sebastian Vettel. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
Bad luck in qualifying. That's not exactly ideal. But there's no points for Saturday. Keep a cool head and make up for it in the race.
They say that even a second is an eternity in Formula One, so going 4 winter months with no racing at all has seemed a very long time indeed. We're back though in Melbourne, home of the Australian Grand Prix since 1996. Just south of Melbourne's downtown business centre is the one and only Albert Park circuit. 3.3 miles of public roads, closed for the weekend of course, make for a bumpy circuit with little undulation. There are 16 corners around the lake and a couple of good passing opportunities here as well, thanks in part to the DRS zones into turns 1, 3 and 13. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Verstappen, Red and Perez, Weber, Gasly, Kvyat and Devon Butler, Magnussen, Albon, Kimi Raikkonen and Sainz, Leclerc, they've taken a grid penalty, Ricciardo, Lando Norris and Robert Kubica, Stroll and George Russell ends our grid lineup. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
place off. If we pick up another place, we'll be right on target. Complete, go now. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. Our gap to the car in front is 3.1 seconds. Okay, the safety car is out. The safety car... The track is clear. Green flag. There's 3 laps of fuel remaining. Yellow flag. Okay, clear. Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
The Mercedes team pulled out a fantastic performance today. They should be proud. Anthony Davidson, How do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. So let's review the updated drivers' standings. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
But there's no question in my mind, it has to go to George Russell. What a performance. He's got every right to be proud of what he accomplished out there today.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes moved to the top of the table. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Less than a lap of fuel now. The tank is empty. just wasn't our day.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top three: Hamilton, Vettel and Lucas Faber. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then. Good racecraft, and you need good consistency.
And a little bit of luck too, I'd say. This is one of those circuits where the safety car always seems to come out just at the right time to condense the field together and mix up the cars on different strategies. It's hard on brakes, it's tough on fuel, and the main overtaking opportunity is down into turn 1, where it's easy to outbrake your opponent and potentially have a bit of argy-bargy as well.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and starting alongside him P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Faber, Leclerc, Sergio Perez and Butler, Red, Verstappen, Bottas and Kimi Raikkonen, Kvyat, Ricciardo, Lando Norris and Sainz, Gasly, Magnussen, Alexander Albon and George Russell. Kubica and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10. Teammate ahead is 2.2 seconds. Remember, box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach. scheduled pit stops. Max is in the pits. Max in the pits. Our teammate by 14.0 seconds. Let's push harder next time, okay?
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes. So let's review the updated driver's standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Well, I certainly didn't have any complaints with Kevin Magnussen's performance today. Incredible driving.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, Renault move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.